They say the worst thing a girl can say is no, but today I'm gonna tell you how women might actually treat you when you are an unattractive man. And it's so much more brutal than you might think. If you think it's over for you, bro, or that it never began, well, that's only the tip of the iceberg. What lurks under the surface, however, is the cruel fate of the comedian Akaash Singh. Hello everyone, it's Mr. Troll, and I know I said in my last video I no longer want to create slop content, which is true, but today's video is anything but slop. In fact, today's video will hopefully serve as a PSA for all men out there, especially simps. Those who think women are those angelic innocent creatures, which isn't always true. Case in point, the wife of Akaash Singh. So, do you happen to be an ugly man, or at the very least, a man who is below average in terms of looks, or as the black pill would call you, a sub 5, and you feel like no woman wants you, women only keep rejecting you, ghosting you, or flaking on you, meanwhile they are being banged by Chad? Well, what happens when a beautiful woman once gives you that attention you always desired? All of a sudden, you feel so good about yourself. You're like, oh my god, this beautiful woman, this angel, wants to be with me. Of all the guys out there, she wants me. And it makes you feel so powerful, like you have power over this beautiful angel. You feel like Goku. You feel like an omnipotent god that can bend reality, until you get hit in the face with reality that you actually don't have any power, little bro. This woman does not appreciate you at all. In fact, she doesn't even respect you. She is only using you. Well, that's what happened with Akaash Singh. And yes, I have to address the elephant in the room, and I know it will sound harsh, but we gotta be realistic. Akaash Singh is not an attractive man. He is not a Chad. He is the definition of a sub 5. I mean, look at him. It doesn't take more than a second of looking at his face to realize that the biggest problem with his appearance is his height. He is only 5'5". In other words, a short king. And I want to make something clear. The purpose of this video is not to hate on Akaash. It's only to show you how brutal it is out there when you are like Akaash. So basically, here is how he got treated. First of all, his wife was apparently the only woman he has ever touched in his life. And he was like in his late 30s when he married her. Before that, he did not get any action whatsoever. And that's not even the worst part. No, the worst part is how the woman he quote-unquote managed to attract treated him. So in the beginning it was all sunshine and rainbows. The wife looked pretty, she seemed nice, and best of all, she was a virgin. I know how many men out there crave virgin women. Some people would claim that's predatory, but oh well. Anyways, Akaash was the man, the myth, the legend, who ended up being privileged enough to marry a virgin. But that's when everything would take a dark turn. Recently, this virgin woman has made videos where she trash-talked him, her own husband mind you, on the internet for millions of people to watch.
Do you and your husband split finances?
We don't.
We don't.
If you want to work, all for that. But like any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his account, that's a fucking red flag. His money is our money and my money is my money.
Does she think she is being relatable? Does she think the average functioning woman thinks like her? I'm sorry to break it to you, but even women hate this creature, as evidenced by the Whatever podcast.
You guys know all this Akaash shit? All this shit with you guys heard about the Akaash guy?
Is that with his wife?
So he's married to a woman.
She's horrible.
And they
yeah,
a woman.
she's horrible.
But just wait until you hear the worst part. I'm gonna play you another clip of this wife, and while you listen to her, keep in mind that she was a virgin before she married Akaash Singh. She was a virgin. Remember that, okay?
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through.
Yeah, she wasn't a virgin. She lied to Akaash that she was a virgin. Maybe what she meant was that she was one of those born-again virgins, but we all know that's BS. Keep in mind, Akaash was a virgin who had no prior experience with women beforehand, and he thought she was also a virgin, but turns out she was banging a whole bunch of dudes and had freaking rosters. She is the definition of a ran through 304, and this is why she now doesn't respect Akaash. She is only using him for his fame and clout, but she doesn't feel any attraction towards him. Instead, she is attracted to, chads. And this, my children, is why a woman's body count and past matters. Because she will compare you to all the other dudes that have been inside her, and she will get quote-unquote nostalgic for them. And then she will stop respecting you. Now, what does Akaash have to say in his defense, you may ask? Well,
tell me about your relationship with your wife. What's that like?
A lot of work, a lot of therapy. We love each other so much. We're like deeply in love. And it's like we laugh all the time. But both of us grew up in and I'm talking about this in the next special. It was like turbulent households for both of us. We don't need to get too personal. But yeah, it's turbulent. So we didn't have any tools. Our fights would get crazy. Like I am very calm with her until I'm not. And then it's hard for me to cap the end.
0 to 100 in a second.
0 to 100.
0 to 0 for 10 days and then...
She never felt unsafe like I would hit her.
Sure.
But I hit myself a couple of times like a fucking maniac, and that's not going to make you feel safe either.
No.
So it was a lot of therapy. As soon as we got together, I'd been thinking about therapy for a while, and I realized I love this girl, and I don't even think I knew how much until therapy. But I was like, yeah, I love this girl. This girl I want to make it work with. I can't let this get in the way.
Poor Akaash Singh. You can clearly see that his wife has manipulated him to think all this. Not only does his wife belong to the streets, but she is also a horrible manipulator. I mean, look at this.
Everyone says to me, oh, Jocelyn, you're so spoiled, you're such a brat, blah, 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 blah. But guess what? My anniversary, or I should say our 4-year anniversary, can you stop with the shuffling around? Because I'm recording. And this is the thing that annoys me is when I'm recording, Akaash likes to make likes to make the most noise possible. But I was just informed that, unfortunately I will not be receiving a gift for my anniversary because we got a Birkin. Or excuse me, I got a Birkin, but that was almost a month ago now.
Was it a month ago?
I feel like it was about a month ago.
I don't think it was a month ago, dude.
It's fine, I guess you just hate me.
You can't even fake cry. Look up, look up.
The tears are there. They're on the inside.
I can't help the timing of the gift.
Babe,
Yeah, baby.
so you really just hate me.
I hate you. I love you more than everything. Make it up to you on your birthday.
Akaash likes to choke. You heard it here first.
I absolutely hate how she speaks in this ultra-feminine voice that makes a man's caveman brain go, oh wow, woman speak in woman voice, woman so sexy, I do whatever she wants because woman so sexy, ooga ooga. Those women know exactly what they are doing. They will act like those really sexy, really demure, really perfect Barbie dolls whenever they want something specific out of a man, so that they can trigger that caveman response in a man that makes him basically surrender to them. But in other situations, do you think they maintain this ultra-feminine behavior?
I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through.
Yeah, they don't. And this is why a lot of red pill content creators like Sneeko and Myron Gaines have said that as a man, you need to have experience with multiple women before you settle down, so that you can have a better understanding of the female nature, so that you can learn how women manipulate and be able to distinguish good women from bad women. However, I can also see the problem with this argument. If you put your pee-pee in many women before you settle as a man, you might end up like the wife yourself, where you will get quote-unquote nostalgic for all the women you bagged. Therefore, Mr. Troll over here will instead give you a more profound tip. Step 1, be attractive. Step 2, don't be unattractive. Rinse and repeat. Because you see, when you are able to attract multiple people, you will probably be able to attract many good people as well as many bad people. And in that way, you will be fed with large amounts of data, kind of like a computer using machine learning. And that way you will learn what women to keep and what women to avoid. However, if you're ugly, then you won't be able to attract any women, and therefore you won't have any point of reference. And so if a woman then gives you attention and acts all feminine around you, you will be like, oh my god, woman give me attention, it means she likes me, when in reality she's only giving you attention because she wants to use you, bro. Therefore, looks max. I know it sounds cliche, but go to the gym, get a haircut, have a good style, and learn how to talk to girls. That way, you will attract more girls, and therefore you will have more samples to learn from. But I get it. Sometimes your genetics are gonna be a huge limitation. Just like in Akaash case, where his huge genetic limitation was his height. And so if you have the kind of genetics or life conditions where even if you look smacks, you still can't attract girls, then my advice would be to be extra careful and not trust women. Because once again, you won't have any point of reference, and thus you won't be able to differentiate good women from the bad. Because this is what's happening with my boy Akaash here. He had no women before his wife, not necessarily because he was saving himself for marriage, but because no woman wanted to date him. So as a result, he picked the first woman that ever gave him attention, and it turned out she was horrible. Also, don't get married. Like, I hate to break it to you, but in 2025 and almost 2026 now, marriage is a joke. Like, you keep seeing people vow at the altar that they will be together till death do them apart, and then they file for divorce only a year later, and the wife takes custody of the kids and the man basically loses everything. I'm telling you, marriage is a joke. Now, if you are marrying for religious reasons, that's a different thing. But if you're not religious, then just don't get married. Like, why do you even want to get married, bro? You don't need to be married to have children. Rice Gum has become a father, and he is not married. Who did he get children with? His girlfriend. Also, that one athlete that recently died due to the S word, he also just got a child that he will unfortunately never see. But he never got married. So who did he get that child with? His girlfriend. I'm telling you, you don't need to get married in order to have unprotected sex with someone. And once again, if you're religious and you want to get married so that you can have sex, then that's different. But if you're not religious, then I can't stress this enough. Don't get married. I'm sorry to break it to you, but we live in a time where marriage no longer is this fond thing to look upon. Wearing a ring on your finger is not gonna magically turn you into one of those sexy men from the 60s that were beating their wife. Once again, marriage today is a joke. If you get married without being religious, you will only be seen as a clown, because that's how you give women permission to use you and badmouth you on the internet. And if you aren't good looking, then like I said, you cannot trust a single woman. And so I hope I can potentially save lives with this video. I know the things I said today might sound harsh, but I feel like this is a very important topic and we need to have the courage to talk more about things like this. Therefore, do me a favor and help spreading this message. Like, subscribe, comment, and share this video so that the algorithm can pump this video out to as many people as possible. And with that said, Mr. Troll, out.